Welcome to this session. This is one of the things that really excites me at the moment. Taking your learning, your teaching and learning beyond projection and towards deeper learning. I will explain this as we go through here. My name is Mamet. I am glad you could join me, and the software I am about to use would be Nearpod. I want to show you different aspects of Nearpod and how you will integrate these different aspects in order to develop your teaching and learning from just rote instruction to intuitive teaching, where you can get instant feedback, you can share feedback, you can allow students to collaborate, and you do all these things from one place. You don't need to do app after app after app. If you fancy app after app after app, as I do, it is possible for you to do your app after app outside the classroom and to embed everything into Nearpod and deliver fluidly in one place. Okay. Depending on where you teach, you have lesson observation criteria. My current location looks something like this. And you will find aspects of checking written material of students. And if you're doing this in exercise books, it's really difficult to do in real time. You might be able to spot check a few, but then the observer would ask you, how do you know every child made progress and you're stuck? I have an answer for you right now. Ensuring ongoing assessment, tick. I can do that for you on here. Various ways of checking student understanding. I will show you a variety of them. We would be using the add activity here to make your lesson interactive and intuitive in response to what the students are doing in real time. Okay. Uses designs or adapts multiple methods of assessment. This is only a snapshot of one aspect of our observation schedule. I just wanted to bring it here. Yours might look slightly different, but the basic elements of these observation schedules are fairly the same. One of the other things that's making a lot of waves around education is taking learning deeper. And apparently when you're doing deeper learning, there is collaborative learning, because this leans itself to the constructivist theory of learning. Students struggling and making mistakes and figuring out where the mistakes are and constructing new learning from this. Giving feedback again allows the students to know where they are, what kind of progress they are making. Are they making mistakes? If they are making mistakes, they have the opportunity to correct them. All right, we'll be using metacognition, reprocess. There's a lot of things flying around, different pedagogies. But what I actually want to focus on is these two pictures. I wanted to show you these two pictures because it's actually heartbreaking. Depending on how old you are, you may remember these boards. And if you were in school around that time, the teacher was the expert, the teacher knew everything, the teacher called you, the teacher decided what needed to be discussed. He or she called you to the board, asked you specific questions. If you are like this boy, you probably don't know the answer. You might be embarrassed. Your peers might support you, but it's quite limited. Now, I remember when the smart boards were introduced to our school, my head teacher says to us that these new boards were coming to the classroom. It was going to change everything. The students could be learning interactively and all sorts of things. And then the boards actually did arrive in school. And in the various roles that I held in school, I was very lucky to go into many classrooms, and you found the scenario. The scenario on your left. Still an expert teacher, using fancy tools, but if you look, the tools look like they've been projected. There's still one student at the board, the rest of them are spectators. Her feedback to the student is verbal, If she's lucky, she might get some interactive feedback. But I actually do not see much of a difference between these. I have to be honest. One is very expensive. The other one is inexpensive. But if you go into project, I think you might be better off using the figure on the right. It will cost your school less for you to achieve practically the same. How do you make this better? My school is a technology school, so we have one-to-one integration of iPads. There are students who even have an iPad and a MacBook. But if you walk into classrooms, again, the iPad is a mini projector. The teacher has made stuff, even people who are near-podding. Initially, the iPad is just a projector. You project your Nearpod, each kid has a copy in front of them, but it's still the teacher talking, the students listening, very little else changing. I want to take you on a journey through this series is to talk you through different ways of changing that mindset of the teacher, the expert, the teacher, the deliverer, the teacher, the knowledgeable person, into a teacher facilitator who makes use of the technology available to actively engage students, to feed back to them, to help them construct, to learn together collaboratively. They might not necessarily have to sit beside each other to collaborate. And it's exciting. That's what I want to do with you over this series. Right. The model I'll be looking at is the SAMA model. The SAMA model is something I really like because it makes technology integration very simple. The version I showed you of the whiteboard and the interactive whiteboard is a substitution. You take technology and you use it to replace a traditional technique. No functional change. A projector, you could project onto a wall and you can project onto a smart board. Very little difference, substitution. The next level up is augmentation, where technology acts as a tool. It's substituting a tool, but it's adding at least an improvement, something slight to it. The fact that you could airdrop things to kids. You are still projecting, but it's convenient, and each kid can have a copy to store. Modification technology allows for significant task redesign. You change the way you do things. Students might be recording. You might share a recording of yourself so the students can play and listen to them independently. And then when you are actually expert, you redefine tasks. You use technology in a way which allows you to create new tasks in ways which would not be conceivable in the old way. That is where I want to lead you to ultimately, but it's a step-by-step approach. So you have the enhancement phase where you have substitution and augmentation, and then you have the transformation phase when you're moving into modification and redefinition of tasks. Right, this is a simple quiz you can do on Nearpod. This could be a way you share your lesson objectives actually. I'm asking a simple question. What's your current experience with Nearpod? And I have given a few options here the students can select, and more importantly, this red button here that says share. Once the data comes in, the teacher can click one button, share, and the students can see results. And if you want students to discuss and to actively engage with the results, you can facilitate that, okay? So this is one way of doing assessments. You could also have done assessments with a worksheet. But if you did assessments with a worksheet, it would be difficult for you to instantly share the feedback with all students in the classroom. And you might go around with the worksheet and ask child after child to look at it and pass it around, which would take forever. Here, intuitive, one click of a button. Here, you can also have videos embedded in Nearpod. It allows you an opportunity to flip your lessons. The reason why I like this, and I actually like the option to play on all devices. When you select the option to play on all devices, each student actually have an independent interaction with this video. They can watch it continuously. The student who never actually hears something on a general video you project onto the board, and they need to hold the rest of the class back whilst you rewind for the next 5 seconds and allow them to catch the one word they did not get. Sometimes you are able to do that, in which case you are holding everybody back in order to drag the student with you. Or sometimes you are not able to go back, so you move forward with the ones who have moved with you and you leave the student back. Well, all devices play allow you, each student, although they are experiencing the same video, can experience the same video independently. The ones who need to rewind can rewind, they can fast forward, they can capture, okay? So this is a new feature. This is redefining the way you play videos in class, making them intuitive. If you have a look at this screenshot I have here, one of the things you need to be doing in your lessons in the 21st century is to have a variety of instructional techniques. And if you have a look at this page, it is possible for you to have a video embedded, you have a quiz, you can have a memory test, you can actually take the students on a virtual field trip, you have fill in the blanks, which is taking care of your literacy as well as checking your understanding. There are so many different things you can do. And even more exciting, even after you plan the lesson, in the middle of this, instructional delivery, Students are either making exceptional progress or they are not quite grasping a concept. You need to modify your instruction. If the students are not understanding or they need to move on, you can share a web page with them instantly, even though you hadn't thought to embed it whilst you were planning the lesson. You may do stuff and want to ask them questions. You can use the open-ended question. Draw It is a feature which practically allows you to have an exercise book page that the students write into and submit to you in real time, and you can choose to share with the rest of the class. You can ask for feedback, you can ask students to collaborate, you can share slides with them, you can even have true or false questions. So these are the in real time modifications and adjustments you can make into the lesson, which makes the difference between a very skilled teacher and a static teacher. So like I said, Draw It allows you to see the student's work. So this example I have snapped shows you Celeste's work, the submission Celeste has made. You can see Cully's submission. It's so awesome. Austin has also made a submission. And you are able to share these with the rest of the class as students to review each other's work. Has Cully got it right? Is there anything missing from Cully's work? You would use that to foster discussion and peer review. The teacher does not have to be the only expert in the room. You can use it for all sorts. So the first one I showed you was a math example. You can use it in any way. It's virtually an exercise book from the students where the students make submissions and the teacher sees it instantly. You can see here, I mean, I'm showing you this version with no students enrolled, but you could see the number of students here. If I need to go back into sections of my lesson, now Nearpod allows me to see these on the side. I can click on it and reshare and change the way I have arranged my instruction to suit the students. So I can make real life changes as I'm delivering the lesson. Right, I've talked about instant feedback. Now, a long time ago, maybe over a decade ago, this image here on the left would have been amazing. It is a student's exercise book with clear annotations in red made by the teacher and annotations made by the students in green. I remember when the green pens were introduced, and a peer also commenting in blue on the side. So this student has received a lot of feedback. This would have been a beacon of good practice at some point. But on the right, you see real time. I have to say, when I did this in exercise books, I collected students' books in every 2 weeks. If you're a science teacher like I am, the content you cover in 2 weeks is phenomenal. For a student to receive teacher feedback in 2 weeks is too late. Usually, that would be after assessments. And if you've done assessments and done summative judgments about learning, it's probably too late to be giving formative feedback, which your exercise book annotations is supposed to be. In Nearpod, like I showed you before, you can take a quiz, you can click one button, and the student will see what they got. The information is usually presented in a pie chart. The students can see what proportion of it is red, which proportion is green, how many questions they did not answer. The student can receive that. And also, the teacher will receive this in a report. You might access the reports live. You can access reports live from here. Or you can wait until after the lesson, and after the lesson you can go back into your Nearpod report and you can pull a report. I tend to share the report with the students soon after, so they can see in real time the achievement, their participation, what mistakes they made, and make corrections before summative assessments. Okay, so your questions would appear, the students will answer them. You click the share button and allow students access to instant feedback. Okay. This is the open-ended question. The open-ended question tends to be suitable for critical thinking questions, questions that you expect to use to explore deeper understanding, to guide students towards deeper learning, to reflect and evaluate. Again, you can share with students as you receive submissions. Now, I remember as a new teacher looking for drag and drops, cut and paste, fill in the blanks, close activities, all sorts. Now, Nearpod allows you to do this. You can select text from anywhere. You can type it yourself. You can copy from a web page or a worksheet and paste here. And you can target particular, this is teacher view. So in teacher view, you can see the words, but if it was student view, the students would actually see blanks and would see the words that are in boxes in the teacher view displayed at the bottom. They have to read sentences, drag and drop things in the right places, and the minute the student actually clicks done, regardless of where their classmates are. Whilst the classmates are also thinking and deciding where things go, the student which is making good progress can carry on going, click done, and be able to get their feedback instantly. Okay, so like I've been saying, using the add activity on the fly allows you to adapt and personalize your lessons in real time. Okay, you can add web pages, open-ended questions, draw with slides. You can choose the end session over there. You have a lot of room. If you want to give students a little bit of autonomy, you can put things in as a slideshow. When you put things in as a slideshow, the students can actually click on the slides independently. If student A requires information from slide 1 and student B requires information from slide 6, they can interrogate the slideshow independently without restricting each other. Okay, one of the things I loved when it came out was Padlet. In Padlet, you could actually have groups of students working on one document. It was like the traditional poster making activity,